All right. It's looking good, looking good. Let's see. We are, yep, we're live. Good. So, if you're watching these, like no one is, right? Last time I was trying to diagnose one of the harder things to diagnose, an intermittent problem. Didn't get that far, but we ended up fixing a different problem later, which I was able to do by turning off a feature in a plugin, which was protecting against brute force attacks. And this made me start thinking more about how important it is to know how to secure websites. So this is going to be, I'm going to walk through a course called WordPress Developing Secure Sites. And the first thing is going to be all about backing up and restoring. So I'm just going to go through a backup and restore, which you have at least two aspects that make up the data of your page. The front end theme and the database. And the database holds most of the posting data, where the theme holds all of the visual elements that make the look and feel of your site. So with just the theme, you don't have your data. And with just your data, you don't have a way to present it that matches your site. Both losing either of these components means you would have to create whatever you had done from scratch. So when you talk about security and malicious actors somehow compromising your website, one of the worst things they can do is delete your data. So if you have a backup of your data, you're instantly, even if you don't take any other measures to secure your site, you are protected from being held captive to some kind of ransomware attack or basically no hacker can hold your data. The fact that they're withholding your data doesn't give them any power because you have a backup. So that'll be the first thing we do. So let's get going.
Means you can get everything back up and running. Of course, the easiest way to back up everything with WordPress is to do it automatically with a plugin. There are several good backup plugins available, but the most powerful, flexible, and popular is called Updraft Plus. Let's check it out from the Add Plugins screen in the WordPress admin area.
Updraft Plus.
After a quick search, here is Updraft Plus listed in the plugin directory. Feel free to read through the plugin description and other information. This is a solid plugin that's become very popular. Check out these stats. Over 800,000 active installs and over 2,000 positive ratings, 4.9 out of 5 stars. It doesn't get much better than that. Updraft Plus is already installed on this demo site, so let's go ahead and activate the plugin. Here on the plugins page, we click Activate to activate the plugin. Now we can click on the settings link to configure the plugin. Here on the Updraft Plus page, we find several tabs. The first tab, Current Status, is where we can back up, restore, and clone our database and files. The second tab, Existing Backups, is where we can manage our backup files. Each set of backup files will be listed here, along with other options. The Settings tab provides all of the plugin settings, including schedule, number of backups, remote storage options, included files, and more. These remaining tabs, Advanced Tools and Premium Extensions, generally are not needed, so we won't worry about them in this tutorial. Now that we've had the tour, let's configure the plugin and see how it works.
Okay. So
here on the settings page, most of the options should be pre-filled and ready to go. Let's take a look. First, we choose our schedule, here under Files Backup Schedule. There are several options available. Let's select Daily.
Daily, yeah.
For the number of backup files, choose whatever makes sense for your site. Anything between 5 and 20 or so should be fine for most cases.
Yeah,
Next, we see the options for Database Backup Schedule. You can set this to be different than the previous setting, but it makes sense to keep them synchronized.
Yeah.
After all, if something happens to your site and you need to restore it, it's nice to have matching backups. This next section enables you to configure remote storage options for your backups. So if you have Dropbox, Amazon S3, or any of these other services, you can set that up here.
One thing I'll note, I can see a situation where you are posting content more often than you're uploading files. So if you backed your database up every hour, that probably makes more sense in some instances if you can back your database up more frequently and back your files up less frequently. So if you had an hourly database backup and you retain like 24 of those, and then your files back up daily, that might make sense. So we can see that.
Default, the backup files will be stored in a secure directory on the server. Next, under Include in Files Backup, we can choose exactly which files to include in our backups. Feel free to customize, but the default settings here are well tuned and work great for most WordPress sites. And the other settings are yours to explore. You can enable email notifications and configure some advanced settings if you really want to fine-tune your backups. In most cases, the default settings are going to work just fine.
It's my address.
Now that we've chosen our settings, let's click the Save Changes button to save our changes. With Updraft Plus now configured, we're all set for daily backups of our database and files. Here under the Current Status tab, we can see the next...
So I'm going to send these to my Google Drive because I have a lot of space there. And we'll call the folder that. Yep. Authenticate with Google. Save. Great. So I'm going to authorize my account. Perfect. All right. So that completes the loop with Google. So now Google is linked. You can send it backup to more than one destination with an add-on. Google Drive folder, authentication, include these files. The above directories are everything except for WordPress core itself, which you can download afresh from WordPress.org. Database encryption phrase. So when we spied on Updraft Premium can encrypt your data backup. So right now I'm not even paying for this at all, which is really cool. Okay, so I'm going to get notified when there's a basic report to send. Okay. Expert settings. I'm curious. Debug mode. Split archives every 400 megabytes. Delete local backup. Backup directory. Do not verify SSL. Okay. So that looks good. So the next thing would be to do a backup. So files, database, backup now. Include your database in backup. All WordPress tables will be backed up. With Premium, you can choose to back up non-WordPress tables. Backup only specified tables and backup other databases too. Include your file. So hopefully that means that on my site in PHPMyAdmin, I could potentially have other databases besides the ones being used for WordPress. But I would assume that any database needed to have the website continue to function would be included. Include your files in the backup. Send this backup to remote storage. Yes. Only allow this backup to be deleted manually. I'll do that too. And then we'll back up.
Schedule backup and even make an on-demand backup like so. From this dialog box, we can choose exactly which items to back up. Let's just back up the database for this example, and then we click Backup Now, and you can watch as the plugin works its magic. Once the backup is complete, you can verify the time and latest log message as shown here. As the days go by, you can visit the Existing Backups tab to view and manage your backup files. In the next video, we'll learn how to use our backup files to restore our site should we ever need to do so. In this screencast, we've set up an automatic backup strategy using the Versatile Updraft Plus plugin. Your site's life insurance policy is now in full effect, with current site backups available at a moment's notice. In this video, we're going to restore a WordPress.
Okay, so now that the backup's done, where is it? So the backup dates, here's the most recent one. So if I double click on it, I get the raw backup history. Kind of cool. Shows me what was backed up, so the plugins, the size of that, the themes, the size of that, the uploads, 9.1 megabytes, and these are the hashes, so I can verify that they weren't tampered with. Okay. And then the database file, 0.3. So the total backup is 23.7 megabytes, and then what do I get down here? Oh, this is the raw output of the array. Okay. All right. So that's fine. And then I can download the data. Okay, so one by one I can download. Download. Can I do this more quickly than that? Well, let's do this. So, themes, uploads, others. Download. 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 I mean, you would hope, right, that since evident, or yeah, when you're using that, you might not be able to get there. If I go to Updraft Plus, there you go. I have access to all of it in my Google Drive as well. So that's good. Okay. Now what if I just hit restore? Well, let's make a change to the site, because I think I know what this will do. Added post. Right? Someone does something on the site that you don't like, someone makes a change, someone deletes something, whatever. So now if I go to my home page, this is on the top. I don't want that. I'm going to roll it back to a state, and I believe that's what we can do with restore. So this is the instance where you still have access to your site, but you just want to roll back to a previous state. So I guess the fastest way to get here is settings, updraft plus backups. So let's restore, and I'm going to restore, let's see. Restoring will replace the site's themes, plugins, uploads, database, and or other content directories according to what is contained in the backup set and your selection. Choose the components to restore. Do read this helpful article. Should I understand? Restoring parts of WordPress from inside WordPress always carries risks. Our aim is to reduce them as much as possible. So they'll do it for you if you're nervous. The safest and quickest way to restore WordPress is often manually from the shell or via FTP if no shell is available. Why is it safer and quicker? Mainly because it is not subject to the timeouts that come when running inside a web browser and also can run quicker. However, the manual way also requires the most technical skills. If you do not have the skills, there are no technical advantages doing it. Yeah. Cool. So mostly there's nothing to worry about. This means it's an all or nothing. Either the restoration will be entirely complete or nothing will be restored. Updraft Plus does this by unpacking the download and moving the entire folder in place at once. So there's almost no risk of anything going wrong with restoration. With more files, add-on, or back and restore WordPress core. So you can back up and restore WordPress core too, which seems like in some ways it's a little easier. More files. $15, yeah. Wow, they have a lot of add-ons. Anyway. Wonder still. Database. So there's a timeout with most web hosts, and that's the risk of doing it in the browser, which is why they're going to do it in FTP. But I'm just going to see, what if you want to restore to a previous state? And I think all you need for that is the database. So I'm going to restore that, leave everything else. No plugins, no themes, no uploads, no others. Next. Okay. Restore. So retrieving and preparing. The backup archive files have been successfully processed. Backup of, and then the website, and then the version of WordPress core. Restore. Okay, so the restore operation has begun with the hash. Do not close this page. Restore successful. And we see here activity log, the final check, unpacking backup, restoring the database, enabling maintenance mode, content upload, processing the tables, disabling maintenance mode, finished, let's see, 46 lines processed in 3.53 seconds. And then the action return to updraft configuration. So now if I go to the front end, check it out. No ugly post. Love it. All right, so let's do this surgically. So I'm going to go to my FTP, and I'm going to go to my flowdesign.io directory. And what am I going to do?
That for whatever reason has crashed and lost a bunch of data. We'll use our demo site to illustrate this. As you can see here, the site is no longer functional. The only solution is performing a full site restoration, which includes the files and database. The restoration process takes some time, but conceptually is very straightforward. Here are the basic steps. First, we want to get the most current versions of our backup files and database.
So this doesn't really mention the fact that you need to install WordPress core. But
then we want to set up a maintenance page to let visitors know that we'll be right back. Next, we'll upload the backup files, restore the database, and then we want to test everything for proper functionality. Last but not least, we'll remove the maintenance page to allow visitors to return to the site. To perform these steps, we'll need an FTP connection to upload our files and an app to work with the database. A very popular, well-documented, and open-source app is PHPMyAdmin. PHPMyAdmin is pre-installed on most servers. If you don't see it, ask your web host for help. Using PHPMyAdmin, let's take a look at our existing WordPress database.
Okay, so let me get to that. So this is on A2. So we're going to go to A2. Make sure I'm logged in. Let's log in. Don't hack me. All right. So this is kind of intimidating if you haven't done this. It's intimidating for me, and I have done it. So, all right. So now we see down on the left-hand side all of the MySQL databases, and each one is for a different install, I believe. I don't see one here for flow design, which makes me think that it's not a straightforward name. So let's go to the config file and see if we can figure it out. Because the WP config file, yep, here it is. So the DB name is ashinemwp WP 400. WP 400, there we go. Nice. So if we click on the name of the database, then we get a list of the tables within that database. And this one has 13 tables. Okay, let's keep going.
Remember, our demo site has been compromised, so we want to replace this database with a current backup. So at this point, our backup files are ready, phpMyAdmin is open, and our FTP client is connected and ready to go. Let's continue by setting up a temporary maintenance page that will keep visitors from interfering with the restoration process. We do this in 2 steps. First, open the htaccess exercise file that's included with this tutorial.
Did I download that? Let's see what I got here. Let's see, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, there it is. Nice. Let's bring this guy onto the desktop. WordPress secure sites. Exercise files. All right. 1, 2. So he has some code for your .htaccess file. I'm just going to copy that. See what he has to say.
Copy the code, and then paste it into our site's root htaccess file before any WordPress-specific rules that might be in place. Next, we want to change the IP address to match our own. To get this information, we can ask Google, "What is my IP?" We can then copy the IP address and return to our file editor.
All right, let me grab that. I should know that. Oh, I do know that. What am I saying? All right, so paste that in.
Place the existing code right here. After adding our IP address, we want to save the file and upload it to the server. If you have other IPs that you would like to allow, you can include them with additional lines like so.
So did that work?
For this tutorial, we only need 1 IP, so we'll go ahead and leave it like this. We then save and upload the file, and we are ready to go. Once the htaccess maintenance code is in place, it will allow our IP address to access the site while displaying a "We'll be right back" message to all other visitors.
Oh, right. Okay, so it would work for me, but it shouldn't work for anyone else. And he's going to try doing it through a proxy, and I think it was called that. Well, let's see what he says.
Let's see this in action by visiting our site using a proxy server. Any proxy server will do, so for this tutorial, we use the one at hide.me. We enter the URL.
Hide.me free proxy. Free proxy. Hide.me free proxy. There we go. www.flowdesign.io. And I guess we'll hopefully see a maintenance page. Oh, come on. You don't like my URL? Is it because I don't have that? All right, well, maybe that works. Let's quickly remove this, save it, and then re-access it. There we go. Okay, good. So, to most of the world, when I add that code, it prevents the outside world. Yep, you get a service unavailable just like we want. Good. Good, good, good. Okay.
Of our demo site,
so far we're on board.
Clicking the Go button, we get a 503 response. This shows us that the maintenance code is in place and working properly. So we're now ready to begin restoring our WordPress site. Because the file upload requires the most time, we'll get that started first. Here we are in the FTP client connected to our site on the server. As you can see, we have our backup files here ready to go on our local machine.
So that's the thing. So how did you get that? How did you download your files? Just like that. So let's go to Settings, Updraft plus Backups, Backup Restore. Actually, in this kind of situation, I would go to my drive. So let's see how that would look. Updraft plus, and then whatever was done most recently. So that would be download. So it zips the backups. And while it does that, I'm going to do something kind of crazy, which is break my site intentionally. I'm going to take everything that is content. I'm going to do a new folder and do old, or let's do archive site, and we'll do today's date. All right, and then move everything into that folder. And that should effectively break the page. So now if I reload, yeah, there it is. Nice. We have nothing. Okay, so in my downloads, I should have my new folder. Oh, it's just downloading now. Okay. There it is. Okay, so from Google Drive, I have all these. Just unzip them all. All right. So I started off with these guys. All right. So I believe, yeah, this is the others. Uh-huh. So it's interesting. So it's not entirely clear how to restore, like the structure is not clear, right? So you might need to actually go to the updraft documentation. Updraft plus restore. All right. So unpack a fresh copy of WordPress. Right. So you do have to do this, right? This is a very important step because you need, like, if your site is gone, you need WordPress. I mean, that's just, it's that easy. That simple. So download WordPress and next unless you purchase the More Files add-on, Updraft Plus does not back up the WordPress core. You can just get a fresh copy of that from the WordPress website. So if you're starting from nothing, then first download and unzip the WordPress zip from the URL. You also need to set, and just make sure to unpack the WP core zip at that stage. You will also need to set up a new WP config PHP file by editing and renaming the WP config sample PHP file that is included in WordPress so it contains your proper database details. Don't access WordPress itself in your browser until you finish this entire procedure, though. Edit WP config in the text editor. You will also want to copy any other settings you had in your old WP config file, multi-site settings, etc. If your backup includes a WP core zip, then you can find your old WP config file in there. Don't copy the old database settings unless you really do intend to use the same database instead of importing the backup that's below. If your site is moving location, you also want to add WP home and WP site URL parameters to the WP config file. See here and here. Oh, those broke. Okay. So I think you upload. I think I'm gonna have to interesting. I think I'm gonna have to upload the contents of the WordPress folder to my FTP. Right? Because it kind of looks like the WP config file was not backed up. Which seems wrong. Right? Because what if like that's part of your site? Right? Wouldn't you think that you would need that as the backup? Well, I'm just gonna upload all the contents of WordPress to the site. Just the files. So WordPress comes in at 42.6 megabytes. And right now that's taking my connection a few minutes. Let's keep watching.
Then here on the server, all files except for htaccess and CGI bin have been removed. This leaves us a clean slate to work with. So let's begin the restoration process by uploading our backup files to the server. We select all files, right-click, and select Upload. For more information on keeping good backups, check out the previous video in this tutorial series. While the files are uploading, let's go ahead and restore the database using phpMyAdmin.
So this is going to be interesting. So the first thing he's going to tell us to do is drop all these tables, which means delete them. Bold move, but I'm going to do it. So let's see, where were we? All right, so here's the database. I'm going to select all tables and drop. Do you really want to execute the following query? Yes. Database gone. So I still have the database, but it has no tables. All right, now what?
The thing we want to do is remove the current database by checking all and selecting drop. Then we click yes to confirm. Next, click on the Import tab near the top of the screen. Then click Choose File and locate your database backup. Go ahead and leave all these other settings at their default values unless you...
Okay. Oh, should I have kept the database file compressed? I think I should have. So when I downloaded the database file from Google, it downloaded it as a .gz, a gzip compressed archive. And I just thought naturally that I would want to unzip it, but it looks like when you're uploading to MySQL or phpMyAdmin, it'll take the compressed version. So import. Choose. There you go. There you go. Choose. Leave those default. Go. So that should be 13 tables. Error. You have an error in your SQL syntax. Check the manual. Corresponds. All right, maybe I went quickly there. Let's see. Files may be compressed in gzip. Files may be compressed or uncompressed. Let's try the uncompressed. So the WordPress file is finished uploading. So on the side here, I'm just gonna, since I have the WP config file, which I'm lucky that I have it, but I have it, so why not? I'm gonna delete the WP config sample. Delete. I'm gonna drag the WP config out into the root directory of my site. So that is now restored. And so WordPress core is back. My database should be back. So unknown table. Let's see how that did. So yeah, I have 13 tables back, so that's good. All right.
Reason to change them. Finally, click the Go button to upload the database. The import process can take some time for large files, but a default WordPress database should go pretty quick. And we're all set. We've just restored the most recent backup copy of our site's database. Let's return now to our FTP program and check on our file upload. And the upload is complete. At this point, all files have been uploaded to the server, and the database has been completely restored. So let's return now to our demo site to see how it all looks.
So, right, so I've just done the core, but I also need to upload a few other things. So, let's see, the other files, index and db, where do those exist? Well, index would be at the root. So I'm going to upload that and overwrite the current index. I don't know about db. db.php. Inside WP content. See, that's not obvious at all. Wow. So WP content, and yeah, sure enough, is not there by default. So now it's uploaded. So now the other folder's done. All right, now we need to upload themes. That'll replace what's there. I wonder if it's better to overwrite or to delete and then write. It's probably better to delete and then write. Sorry, distraction. Where was I? Actually, I'm not done with this sidebar. friend from out of town coming for a wedding, so I get to see him. It's great. But it's not the focus right now. Okay, so I just uploaded the themes. Great. So for plugins and uploads, well, uploads doesn't exist, but I'm going to delete the plugins folder. Delete. Yes. And then simply upload plugins and uploads into the WP content where I believe they're supposed to be. So that's 52 megs. It's really too bad that I don't know if the upload speed is due to my hosting or what, or my internet locally, but it's not great. So that's something to bear in mind when you're doing this stuff. I don't know if there's a faster way to do that kind of thing, but
we refresh the page, and success, our demo site is back up and running. From here, it's just a matter of going through and verifying that everything is working normally. For example, you might log into the admin area, check out some posts and pages, the media library, and so on. Once we verify that everything is running smooth, we can remove the htaccess maintenance code to allow normal traffic to return to the site. Simply remove the code, save changes, and upload to the server. Then one last check via proxy to confirm that other visitors have access.
let's see. All right. Okay. Still waiting on that upload to finish. Oh, you know what? It's probably because I'm streaming too. That would do it. Haha.
Once we verify our demo site to see how it all looks, we
I
refresh
like
the
that he has
page,
all the WordPress
and
files in a
success,
folder.
our
I wonder
demo
if you can
site
just
is
do
back
that.
up and running. From here, it's just a matter of going through and verifying that everything is working normally. For example, you might log into the admin area, check out some posts and pages, the media library, and so on. Once we verify that everything is running smooth, we can remove the htaccess maintenance code to allow normal traffic to return to the site. Simply remove the code, save changes, and upload to the server.
Sorry, almost done with my sidebar over here. So where are we going tonight? We're going to this place called the Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Organizing people, crazy thing. This is what planning a business or starting a business is like trying to focus, right? But life is life, and it's great. It's beautiful. All right, that upload's done. So let's try the site. And we got a big fat nothing. All right, so what are we missing here? So we got index. The only thing is, did we put all the content in the right spot? Plugins, themes, uploads. There's an index in the content. Oh. Aha. Index in the content. Let's try that. So that index needs to go in the content. Overwrite. Let's also just get rid of this for good measure. And then the index should come from the core. So hopefully I didn't delete that. So WordPress index. And we're going to overwrite. That was fast. And we're back. Awesome. So, okay, not entirely clear, to be honest, but basically the backup files you get from Updraft, if you're reinstalling core, all go into the WP content folder. Right? In addition to that, the WP config file needs to be recreated. So you either need to know about how to edit a WP config file, or you need to go through the 5-minute install and be able to point the WordPress install to the database. So let's make sure that everything seems to work. So it logged me in. That's interesting. We'll log out and log in. All right. I know this is coming up, so I'm just going to do it now. So they recommend that you not make a username that's easily guessable. So like admin is one that you probably don't want to use. So I'm going to set one up for me. And I'll do the password off screen. Copy that. And they're going to be an admin. So the process there to that email's already registered. So let's do is to create a new user and then delete the first user from the new user's account. So log out, log in with the new credentials, and yes, we will save that. That will become that. And actually we can just update the existing. Boom. Great. So now we go back to users, all users, delete. And then I'll attribute the content, that's pretty cool, to me. Edit. And I'm going to change this over to my email because I have a gravatar for that email. Update. That'll have a confirmation email. And that came in just now. Great. And we're going to change that to something else. All right, now we can log in. Autofill. And now we have a list of users that does not include admin. But it's still the wrong email. So I get it in spam. Spam. I did not. Oh, there it is. Oh, did it come to spam? That's funny. So I got, yep. Howdy, Aaron. You recently requested to have the email address in your account changed. If that's correct, please click this link. So now it updated. Good. So now my user is linked with my WordPress.com account, which has my gravatar. Awesome. All right, let's keep watching this video. Oh, I was wondering about my plugins. So everything is as I left it, and the settings for my plugins, would I know if they were different? Let's see. Settings. Posts. Did I have any drafts in here? I guess I didn't. No. What about pages? That I had. So, yeah. Nice. So that's backing up and restoring a page or a website, which is a very important place to start.
Then one last check via proxy to confirm that other visitors have access. And yes, we are able to access the site via proxy, so we're officially back online and open for business.
Good. Let's just check that too. Yeah, I didn't know about the hide.me. So where's the proxy on this? Take back your freedom. Tools, free proxy. Nice. Great. That's perfect. Get rid of all this. That all worked swimmingly.
In this video, we've completely restored our WordPress site using current backup files. We cover an excellent method of keeping good backups in the previous video, so be sure to check that out for more information. An important step in securing your WordPress site is keeping things current and up to date. When new vulnerabilities are identified, they're almost immediately targeted by attackers. Running the most up-to-date version of WordPress in ensures that you have all the latest bug fixes, security patches, and new features. This video demonstrates how to stay current with everything, right from the comfort of the WordPress admin area. With WordPress, there are three main things that should be kept current: WordPress core files, plugins, and themes. The good news is that, by default, WordPress will let you know when it's time to update any of these three items. When it's time to update WordPress itself, you'll see the update nag, as it's called, appearing at the top of every page in the WordPress admin area, as seen here. When you see this message, a new version of WordPress is available, and so it's time to upgrade. To begin the process, click the Please Update Now link to review your options. Remember, it's a good idea to make a backup before each upgrade. Check out my previous video on backing up WordPress for an easy way to make on-demand backups. Also, if you are unable to upgrade via the admin area, you can upgrade manually via FTP. Let's go ahead and upgrade to the latest version using the one-click installation method. As WordPress is updating, progress information may be displayed. And done. We are now running the latest version of WordPress and can learn more about it here on the About page. Note that, by default, WordPress will try to auto-update itself whenever a new minor version is released. You can learn more about this feature at the WordPress Codex. Now let's return to the Plugins screen to see how updates work for plugins. First, you'll notice a circle icon showing the number of available updates. Then, in the list here, you can see which plugin updates are available. When an update is available, you'll see a link to Update Now. Let's go ahead and update this plugin with a click. Super easy, this one-click updating. All of our plugins are now current. Lastly, when a theme update is available, a similar update reminder will appear in the admin area. Right here on the dashboard update screen. Here we see a new version of the 2016 theme is available. If there are multiple updates available, they'll be listed here as well, ready for an easy bulk update at your command. Let's go ahead and update our theme by selecting it and clicking the Update Themes button. Here we can see the details of the update. Looks like everything is good, so let's return to the Updates page. And great. We're now all current with our themes, plugins, and WordPress itself. Going a bit further, for those of us who visit the WordPress admin area on a regular basis, the update reminders definitely help to keep things up to date. But if you're not always logging into WordPress, it may be difficult to stay current. Without seeing the upgrade notices, you may miss out on important updates, which can leave your site vulnerable. Fortunately, there's a handy little plugin called Updates Notifier that will send you an email whenever an update is available.
Yeah, so I'm going to try that.
The plugin is easy to install and provides a simple settings page.
Updates Notifier. WP Updates Notifier. Oh yeah, I already installed it. I mean, it's old, right? Let's see what their homepage looks like. Years, yeah. That was updated 9 years ago. Wow. Wow. Where was this course? Shit. Updated, yeah, 8:30. Well, let's try it. We'll keep going with it. So, the idea is in plugins, you look at the update notifier and its settings, and then use WordPress once daily, notify that email. I'm going to add this guy to Atex. Notify about plugin updates, yes. Notify theme updates, yes. Notify automatic core, hide. Yep. Save settings with test email. Just gonna send a test email. Right?
Here at the Update Notifier settings page, we see that the default options will work just fine. For the cron method, go ahead and leave it set to WordPress cron, unless you have reason to do otherwise. Then we can choose the frequency to check, specify the address, and then enable notifications for plugins, updates, and the WordPress core. There's even an option here to hide the update nag for non-admins, which can be an added security benefit. After configuring your options, click Save Settings, and you're good to go. This is a perfect tool for keeping track of sites that you don't visit on a regular basis. Whenever there's an update, you'll be notified via email. Lastly, a great way to keep an eye on things is to look at the WordPress newsfeed on the dashboard. If you don't see the newsfeed, click on the Screen Options tab and check the box to enable the newsfeed. This information is a great way to stay current with breaking WordPress news and events. Remember, staying current with themes, plugins, and WordPress itself helps keep your site secure against potential threats and vulnerabilities. By displaying visual reminders in the admin area, WordPress makes it easy to stay current as new updates become available. So keep it current and keep it safe. This video is all about using strong passwords to improve the security of your WordPress-powered site. Choosing strong passwords is one of the most important things you can do to keep your site safe and secure. Weak passwords are things like password, 1234, and other easy-to-guess phrases. Conversely, strong passwords contain numbers, upper lowercase letters, and in WordPress they can also contain symbols like these. Using a good random mix of upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols is a dash lane. The admin password is set when WordPress is installed. A password must be set for each new user, and passwords should be strong and changed frequently. When you install WordPress, you'll see the setup screen. And right here is where you set the admin's password. WordPress does a good job of creating strong passwords, so go ahead and use it. Or you can enter a custom password if desired. There are many ways to create a strong password, but the easiest is to use an online password generator, like this one at strongpasswordgenerator.org. Just click the button to get a strong password, or take a moment to customize your options. Of course, you can and should change your password regularly after installing WordPress, but setting up a strong password from the get-go is a great way to begin your new site. In addition to the primary admin account, you may also need to set up accounts for other users, which is done here on the Users page. For existing users, just click the username and scroll down a bit. There you will find the button to reset your password. This should be done on a periodic basis according to your own security policy. And for new users, click Add New, and fill out the details, and let WordPress generate a super strong password for the user. Also remember to copy this new password because it won't be displayed again. And with that, we click the Add New User button, and we're done. Real quick, here is what I was referring to a moment ago. Scrolling down to check our new password, we see that WordPress does not display it anywhere, so if we forget to copy it, we'll need to repeat the process and generate a new password. In any case, strong passwords will help keep your site secure, and it's good practice to change them on a regular basis. I like to change my passwords every few months for most sites, but the ideal is probably something like every few weeks or thereabouts. To help with things like changing passwords and choosing strong passwords, here are some plugins worth checking out. No Weak Passwords. This plugin forces your users to choose a strong password.
Let's try it. No weak passwords. I want to get better at adding plugins and just trying them. No weak passwords. Stupid. 5 months old. Alright, this plugin forbids any user to choose any password from the common passwords list obtained on openwall.probably.org. Let's try it. Activate. No weak passwords. Why does it have an updraft? Let's look at the settings. No weak passwords. Maintained by David Anderson. Ah, the same person that did updraft. Okay. This plugin has no visual options, but here to help you. What if there are none? What if one of my users is already using one of these passwords? If they try letting them, they will not succeed when they're told to use the lost password to obtain a new password. Alright. So we're banning this list. All right, let's try one. Let's try Einstein. And then we'll try Einstein 1. All right. So let's make a new user, add new. Bob. He's Bob. Bob Baran. All right. And this is going to be an editor. And the password is going to be Einstein. Confirm user password, add. No. Error! Your password exists on the list of known. Nice. Let's try Einstein 1. Oh, whoops, that's going to be the password. Great. So that's how that one works. What's the next plugin?
Mass Users Password Reset enables you to easily change the password of all users.
Nice. So, add new. Oh, what about this? Mass users password reset. Install. Activate. Mass. Deactivate upgrade. Tools. Okay, so you can see the mass users password reset submenu inside the users menu. Good. Users, mass user password reset. Ah, so you can't reset your own password. All right, let's make another user. Add new. Username, Rob. Rob. Robin. A bank. They're going to be an author. Boom. So we got Aaron, Bob, and Rob. Mass user password reset. User role all. It's kind of a nice interface. Advanced features. So we can get custom email option in test mode. Nice. And how much would it cost? 36 for. All right. So let's just use it. See what happens. Reset password. 2 user passwords have been reset successfully. So if I try to log in as Bob, two attempts left. How did that happen? unless it was just junk. So go to nation spam. Yeah, all right, that was it. Okay. So why is that happening? Huh. So who is controlling that? What plugin? Loganizer. Deactivate. Okay. Good. I get it. I get it.
Front-end reset password is nice because it enables your users to reset their password from the front end of your site.
Let's try it. Front end. Password. And what would that look like? Front end settings. Yeah, homepage. Well, actually, let's make a new page. So page, add new. Looks like we need one. Reset your password. Short code. Publish. And we go to settings. Okay, so I'm doing nothing, right? Settings saved. So now if I go to my front end, and I'm going to go to menu, top nav, add, reset, publish. Primary, publish. There, reset password. So if I want to reset it, I'll just do there. Now can I log out and log back in, even though I got password reset sent to me? Yeah, which is probably good. Okay.
And two-factor.
Oh yeah, two-factor. I'll try this one. I really can't do add new plugin. No? Alright. Plugin. Add new. Two-factor. 10,000, 10,000, G94. Let's do it. So how hard would that be to set up? That's the question. What do I need to do? Two-factor, details, installation. Two-factor options under user profile. User. Two-factor disabled. Edit. Two-factor. All right, let's try that. Let's enable that. And then let's go to password. And I'll go to flow design. I will use the one-time password, time-based. Snap that bad boy. Say done. Copy. Paste. Nice. Update. Okay, so now what does it look like if I log in? So let's get out. And let's go. 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 And paste. Awesome. Very cool.
It helps boost security by enabling two-factor authentication for all users. Begin by searching for password, and then go from there. There are plenty of great plugins available. Another important point, when installing WordPress, remember to change the default admin username from admin to something unique and difficult to guess. Attackers typically assume that the administrator's username is admin, so changing it to anything else, is going to block many automated attacks. Here are some names that you should avoid when creating users. Don't use admin, don't use your domain name, and don't use common names like administrator, demo, editor, author, login, and so forth. Also keep in mind that once you've installed WordPress, the admin username can't be changed via the user profile screen. So to change the admin username, first create a new admin level user, then log out as admin, log back in with the new admin level user, and then delete the original admin user and continue using your new account. In this video, we've seen how to create strong passwords and change them for different users. WordPress provides built-in tools for doing this, and there are some great plugins available to make things even easier. In this video,
what's next? I think we'll take a quick break here. The next topic is going to deal with users, and yeah, I'm starting to, hopefully this is sinking in. I mean, because WordPress, whenever you talk about security, it's hard for someone who's optimistic or cheery-minded like me to like remember the kind of numbers we're dealing with, the kind of quantity of attack that's coming at any given website, and how inexpensive it is for a hacker to incrementally attack one more website, right? And it's kind of like that thing where you want to believe that if you leave your car unlocked, no one's going to break into it, but it still makes sense if you're going to leave your laptop inside to lock it, because if someone, it's a crime of convenience if you don't. So in that same way, like anytime you make a website, make crimes of convenience difficult to do, and maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but when you inevitably do get attacked because you're on the internet and you're using the platform that a third of the web uses, you will stand a much better chance of not being negatively affected. And it's like an easy way to add value to your services as a freelancer, because you don't know about the ways to secure the site if you are getting your first website. You just don't. So it's a huge value add, especially if the downside risks of being compromised are large or substantial. If data loss is like a business critical issue, that's a huge selling point. So I think this is definitely worth my while. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next one.